Hey, hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. I know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play those karmic themes to help you understand why a person's doing what they're doing, why you're attracting that person into your life, because you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So why would you attract a person that triggers you? Understanding your situations from a deeper perception allows you to heal because you're able to then change. You're able to integrate the spiritual lesson, which just means do something different. See, we're down here in physical form to learn and to manifest. And part of learning is to see things from a different perception. We get caught in seeing ourselves in limited perceptions due to the experiences that we live. So, again, in order to heal the effects of trauma, we have to integrate the spiritual lesson and actually transmute the negative energy. So, you're an energy being and you're Energy is just your thoughts and your emotions held in the body as stress. It's what becomes your energy vibration. It what makes you a magnet for who and what comes into your life. So, like I said, the readings are deep, but understanding things from a completely different perception allows you to elevate your perception. And again, why are we here? We're here to realize that we're not separate from the universe. We're not separate from our creator, which is God, which again is just the energy of love. The energy of love is that energy that's ubiquitous. We just don't see it. That's why they say love makes the world go round, right? All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box below. Like, share, and subscribe. It's good karma. And leave your comments. Share the love. Share the love. Let's see. I want to use two decks. I'm going to use this deck, and I'm going to also use this deck to pull from the underlying energy, which just tells us why everyone does what they do. Okay, that word is disappointment. Yeah. Okay, and intuition. So, it's so funny because the first thing that I felt is that your person's actually disappointed because intuitively they thought that you were going to go to them. They thought by now that your situation would have been fixed, you know. And I think you're disappointed too because you also had a strong intuition that this person would do the right thing. And I think that you both read like who each other was by the fact that this is a soulmate. It is a soulmate. However, it's not it's not a twin flame connection. It's not a life partner. It's more of a past life karmic mate. So I feel like if this person was in their best energy, yes, they would have did exactly what you thought, and vice versa. So you're both in a place of disappointment because you're like, well, I expected you to come back and fix this by now. And they're like, well, I expected you to come back and fix it. And so both people were like, read the situation wrong. Now, what's going on with my throat? Okay. So when you were with this person, connected to this person, you always felt like they were always looking for someone else. They didn't really give you the time. You felt like emotionally they didn't create that connection. So they always were like looking for somebody, anybody to fulfill that emptiness that's inside of them. So again, they wouldn't give you the attention when you were right there. And it's because this person's insecure and they were afraid of losing what they already had. So it means that this person has been in relationships and their relationships are karmic and they wind up losing everything. And so what happens is that this person has very little faith in when it comes to relationships because they have very little faith in themselves because they're insecure. So there's a part of this person that's looking for something outside of themselves to fulfill them. So again, when they're with you, it's almost like, oh, if you like them, then there's something wrong with you. If you're too nice to them, because they don't like themselves. So again, what and the truth of the matter is that this person creates a lot of illusions. And I think also when you're connected to a past life soulmate, you both thought that this person was someone that they weren't. So that's the illusion. And so part of believing that illusion would bring you to a place of really creating your own hell because the thing is that this person they they're not fulfilled within themselves, so no matter what you would do, they're not, they're empty. They're creating illusions to make you perceive something. You come into the relationship, give of your time, and you know what would happen? You get nothing in return, and it's because they're insecure. They're already looking for something outside of themselves, so again they would be consuming to you, and it's because they're not mature enough. And because And when I say mature, they're not emotionally intelligent. And whether that's because they went through the experiences that traumatized them because they lost things in a previous relationship, and this person is, associating themselves through the things that they lost. So now that they don't really feel like they have an identity, where we're not our things and we're not our experiences, and we're really supposed to be continuously creating ourselves. So even if things fall apart, we would still be, you know, um, able to manifest something for ourselves, something new. I mean, nothing is permanent, you know? So understand this person they can't even have a conversation without, feeling inadequate. So what they actually do is they create arguments, and they create arguments so that you'll soothe them, so that you fix them. So again, it's a way of control. It's a way of manipulation. It's a way that they get you to be consumed within themselves, when meanwhile, they're looking for something else. And it's almost like because they're not putting in the time and effort, they already know that nothing's really going to ever manifest from this connection. I mean, subconsciously, because they're not intimately opening up. They have intimacy issues. Intimacy is trust on its real basic foundation. And this person has trust issues because how they see it, their last relationship where they lost everything, someone betrayed them. So that keeps happening. So they're not going to be open. They're not going to be vulnerable, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to want to be in a relationship. And it's also, they don't want people to see how they feel about themselves. And how they feel about themselves is that they don't like who they are. That's why they create illusions. That's why they're in search for something to fulfill them when that'll never happen because this person's insecure. So, again, not being able to be transparent, not being able to be emotionally available. This person starts arguments, and then that is what consumes you all day, is the fact that this person is, not happy. It's like their mood is dictating your mood, dictating your life, because that's how they emotionally manipulate you. And like you just felt like you suffered enough mental and emotional abuse because, like I said, this person like starts arguments, like if instead of having a conversation. So that's a lot of drama right there. They're just disrupting, whatever is going on in your life because they're not happy. So it's a very manipulative way. of controlling you. And then on top of it, they're insecure. So whatever they're creating, they're more concerned about creating a facade for their ego. Again, they don't want people to see them for how they see them. So again, part of this person is like wants you to fix them. That's why they do what they do. Where again, they have expectations and their expectations are unrealistic. Again, they're needy, they're empty. They need for you to, again, fix them, soothe them, where they're going to emotionally manipulate you to get what they want. And that's because they've lived trauma that they haven't healed. So what happens is that this person is really dishonest. Like, and they're going to do whatever they need to do to get what they want. And so, like I said, as long as this person doesn't really open up to create that emotional intimacy of trust, well, then they're going to continue to, go out and try to find people and have expectations of those people. And eventually that turns toxic because no one wants to be in a one-sided connection. So does this person know what they do? No, I don't believe that they know what they do. I think that again, they're in a dream world. Insecure people like create illusions. Too busy. Again, that was they're insecure, but they create illusions because again, they don't like who they are. So they're dishonest. You don't really know who you're dealing with. The whole time they're like pretending to be someone that they're not, being a chameleon to get what they want. They have expectations and they're just honest about getting them, and to the point that you would be consumed because it's like, well, I'm gonna like emotionally manipulate you by creating an argument so that I get soothed, so I get what I want. And so again, until you finally put a stop to it, this person would do it forever. And then over time, they wouldn't respect you because they'd say, well, emotionally, I know I can just bully you into getting what I want. And that's exactly how it would be. So, they'll like want you to use like, understanding for them because there's a connection, but this person's not really being true to themselves. It creates too much turbulence. They have wishful thinking that you're gonna always be there and do what they want when they really don't want a relationship. They're wild at heart. They're impulsive and they're very cold when it comes to like your feelings. There's a one-sided connection, and that's again because they're going to try and use your energy for themselves again because they feel empty. So you would always be disappointed. This person would never really come through. They're selfish, and what you know is you can't trust them because at the end, when you try to tell them something, they see it as that you're being like you're criticizing them, and then they get self-righteous because they have abandonment issues. So the only way for you to actually deal with them is to disassociate, and that's to disconnect emotionally because this person is so negative because they're prideful. So over time, like again, you expected them to change. They didn't want to change. They're like, it's my way. I don't care that it's unfair. So of course you got to a place where you were disgusted, hoping and thinking that this person would feel guilt or shame for it. And it's like, no, they didn't. It's like there's a part of this person that just doesn't really feel regret. They're just negative, and what they'll do is they'll neglect. They'll neglect you, but really what they're doing is they're neglecting themselves. And it's all about control. It's all about, creating again the illusions, all in hopes that they're scaring you through again not giving in so that you again would become obsessive. But I don't feel like that's what happened. I feel like what happened is that you wound up disconnecting from this person because they kept playing games. It's like instead of them giving in to, again, the connection, what they did was they said, well, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to do that because of, again, I've been hurt in the past. So I'm gonna again treat you the way I've treated, everyone else, and I feel like everyone else needs to bow down to me. This person was very self-righteous. So understand, like you would have had to come to a place of getting majorly triggered and to walk away from this person because understand it's like yeah, and that's what happened. You had enough of their bad temper and disrespect, and that's what they would do. It's again, they would emotionally manipulate you. It's like it's like you're not doing what I want. It's like I'm gonna throw a temper tantrum. I'm gonna again make it a problem, and now it's your job to fix my problem. But really, again, this person's like needy, and they just, they can't sustain themselves. So of course your boundaries would never really be like respected. They would continue completely like cross them because it's like you're not allowed to. This person wants to utilize your energy to help them. So again, what happens over time for you is the passion began to like dissipate because you're like, too many things frustrated you about them. It was like you're not changing, you had enough. It's again, every time you don't get your way, and like you want me to be consumed with you. And so again, you detach, which is not what this person expected. This person did not expect it. So now they're going to be in a place of like feeling all different emotions. Okay, like number one, the realization that they dive in and out of relationships, and that again, they listen to friends, families, karmics who aren't really happy that they would get into another connection, to be honest with you. Um, like there is so much that they do want to tell you, it's again, but like I said, as long as that they're not strong within themselves, which I feel like this person doesn't want to do that. So they know that you deserve more and that you will always intimidate them because they don't want to step it up to the level that they need to. It's again, it's more comfortable for them to stay in a lower vibration. Their low vibration is I get to throw my temper tantrums and people bow down to me. They fix it. They fix me. So it's again, they make me feel well. So again, it's a very one-sided and toxic relationship because the person can't sustain themselves. Their cup is not full. They don't know how to fill their cup, so they're gonna again come into your life, and you're expected to do that for them. And so they don't care whether it's right. They don't care what it would be like for you to be in a connection like this. But let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now, you would be drained. Um, You would be completely drained. So we look and we see again, why did you attract this person into your life? And the first card out is neglect. The second card out is frustration. Third card out is unworthy, rage, space, abuse. So again, we see why you attracted this person into your life because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. So this person, like I said, played a lot of games. They wanted, it was all about them, and they were going to emotionally manipulate you to get what they wanted, by throwing temper tantrums, and it was all about them, and it was very narcissistic behavior. And I feel like you attracted this person because, again, you didn't know your worth because you were brought up in a family where you were made to feel unworthy. There was neglect and abuse. And so when we grow up in that environment, we would have a lot of anger. What we know is that this person has a lot of anger for them to, again, think that they're going to emotionally manipulate someone. Fear we hold on to it for long periods of time, and this person holds on to fear for a long time, they feel inadequacy. Remember, they need your energy to fill them. So again, that fear turns into rage, turns into anger, and that's again, I feel like you held that anger in you because again, you were abused, you were neglected, and you weren't allowed to look at that. And it was like, and it was frustrating to have family, but no real family, to not have that support. So Spirit says there was a lot of empty space here because you're not your trauma and you're not what other people say that you are. You're again what you choose to put your energy. And so, when you grow up in survival mode, you're not choosing to put your energy towards surviving. It's just what happens. But you're still not that trauma. You're still not those experiences. You have to integrate the spiritual lesson, and that's really by becoming yourself. And the way that we become ourselves is through not just going out and interact through. Sometimes we have to tap deep into ourselves, learn to establish a better connection to our higher self, the God part of self. We have to see that work through us. So again, the first card out is the unknown, and the reason why is to open your heart up to the new, where you call for exploration. You can't get better in the same place that made you sick, spiritually sick. So that's number one. Number two, rise above, see beyond your immediate fears to get more insight, elevate your perception, see the situation through unconditional love, see it through a spiritual perspective, and know hurt people, and that you are not, again, your experiences. You're not here by mistake, you're here by God's design. And so Spirit says that it's all about really letting go of who you were to realize who you are, release the past. And that's by, again, jumping into the unknown, really meeting new people, exposing yourself to new things that your spirit will guide you to, and a path begins to unfold. And that is really, Spirit says, and this is about you live authentically, boldly, unafraid to be yourself, live out loud. So, especially if you were neglected, that might be like, well, that's hard for you to do. But Spirit says, do it. And understand, don't care who doesn't like it, because you will eventually attract the people and the situation that are supposed to be in your life. And those people that are throwing shade, well, they'll again attract more things that are shady onto them, because it doesn't work to hold on to negative energy and project it onto someone else without you becoming sick. That's the thing. So we never want to do that. And it's all about, again, releasing control. Understand that God's got it, that it's about going with the flow, that everything happens in divine time, that again, we're not in charge of how we get there. We're only in charge of what it is that we want to create. And that, again, it's about reparenting yourself and utilizing that space to really fully become yourself. Like I said, live boldly out loud, again, unapologetically, so that you can again ascend life, let go of who you once were, because that was never really who you were. That was what was projected onto you. And so again, you lived from that perception because it was a survival mechanism, what you did without knowing. And so now it's about being true to yourself, and understand that is going to make people uncomfortable, because again, it's easier for them to perceive you through the lens that they want to remember you as, which will usually always be one that elevates themselves. But live authentically, don't care. And we leave off with one step at a time. See the mountain ahead and dedicate yourself to taking one small step at a time. Make progress by staying focused on the present moment. Only in the now do you get divine guidance. Through gut intuition, inner knowing. Because the current task is what is the only thing that's important, which happens in the moment. And regain your ease of living, because understand that the universe has you. You're supported and you're loved, regardless of what experiences have transpired, like who doesn't like you. understand you're still becoming who you're supposed to become. Don't judge your process. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonate. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.